Welcome to Expat Girl Chat.
Woo! I'm Ainsley.
I'm Kendall.
I'm Jess.
I'm Siobhan.
Yes!
Guys.
So what should we do?
Okay, so we wanted to, I think this first episode we wanted to sort of just chat generally about us, right? And how we all came to being, and not how we were born, but how we arrived in the UK.
Well, that's a whole new level of intimacy that my parents probably some revelation, or did you always want to be here?
Okay, did I always want to be in London? No, I did not. I found this place highly intimidating, and I was like, London's not for me. And then I spent some time in America, and I was like, okay, I've done America. I love America. But I was like, I think I could do London now. I was like, because I did America on my own, you know? So I was like, I reckon I could do London. But I found London super intimidating. I'd only ever spent like 2 days here before I went on a Contiki tour with my best friend. And I was like, I remember walking with my suitcase, getting on a tube from the airport when I arrived for my Contiki, getting on the wrong train, having to get off, having to walk up the stairs and go over the bridge and down to get to the other side to get on another train, and getting stuck in between the little things because I didn't pull my bag through quick enough. And I'm sweating, and Pree's already walked over and she's gone, and I'm like caught in between, and everyone's staring at me, and it was the most embarrassing thing. And I remember being like, I hate this town. Like, I just didn't enjoy it. And then I don't know, I just got some bravery in me, and I thought, let me just see if I can do London. And I have a British passport, and I'm an actor, so I was like, yeah, it's time. So I moved over in 2018, and I love this city now. I love it. So, for me, it feels like home now, you know? I think.
That's amazing.
Well, that's 2 years and 2 to 3 years now for you.
Yeah, 2.5. Yeah, in the middle. Smack bam in the middle. So
Nice.
that's my story.
Has it been a career choice to bring you over to London then? Because of acting?
Yeah, it was also that I just felt like South Africa is quite, I don't know, I grew up in Dubai, so I've grown up all over the show. So for me, my life has always been traveling and international, and I was feeling quite safe in Cape Town, even though I love Cape Town. I love it. I mean, it's one of the most beautiful, unique places in the entire world, but it felt really safe for me, and I was getting restless. So London was easy because I have the passport. So, and then it kind of all just worked out. Everything fell into place how it was meant to. And my boyfriend Craig, you guys know Craig got a job very easily over here, and it just kind of all fell into place. I really do feel like it was a meant to be situation. So, nice. I'm gonna pass it over to Jess.
Oh, well, my husband, Andy, who you also all know, decided, I would say, one Saturday morning in May, we were just going about our lives in Durban, and I had always wanted to move to England. And he was always like, no, not yet. I need however many years work experience. And I was like, no, this is ridiculous. Let's just go. And he was always like practical and said no. So I kind of like had gave up on it for a bit. And then the conversation had died. And then suddenly in May 2018, he woke up one morning and he just announced, I want to study a law degree. And I said, oh, that's fantastic. How wonderful. Let's make this happen. This is great. Let's inquire at, UNISA or UKZN or UCG. And he says, no, I want to do a law degree and I want to do it in London. And I was like, I'm sorry, okay. What? And he was like, yes, I want to do it in London. So, over the moon, ridiculously excited, thrilled, but also secretly kind of thinking to myself, it's really hard maybe to get into a university overseas, and I don't want to crush his dream, but shit, I'm not so sure how this is going to pan out. But I was like, excellent, we'll do it. And we just applied to tons and tons and tons of universities. And about a month later, he ended up getting an unconditional offer to the University of Greenwich. And
what's unconditional mean, Jess?
it basically means that he didn't have to, he was in, like, no matter what. They didn't need to see any more kind of like results.
No high school results.
Yeah, no high school results, thank the Lord, because he did not even get his matric. He doesn't even have his matric. That's why I was thinking he's a little bit ambitious for England, that he doesn't even have his high schooling. But he applied on age exemption. Yeah, so he applied on his age exemption, got this unconditional offer, and we broke the news to his family like a couple days later, and we were like, we're moving to London, bye. and basically we packed up our lives, got rid of a whole lot of our stuff, and I'd say, like, sort of from hearing he was accepted, it was probably like a month and a half, 2 months, and we were here, and we live in Greenwich, and we absolutely just love it, can't get enough of it. And then the best part was my parents decided, we must move too. And then the next thing I knew, they were packing up their bags and heading over here. And so now the whole family is all together in England, literally all together in the same house.
That's so nice.
We're very happy, and we love it, and wouldn't change a thing. And now, Ainsley.
Hi. Yes, so my story starts. I am an actor, and I was studying at UKZN, and I did my drama degree and I did my honours degree. And then I was meant to go work on the MSc as a cruise entertainment host, and my brother felt ill. So I decided not to go and pursue the shipping career and just to take care of him. And I'd always known that I wanted to somehow continue, not necessarily studying, but I still wanted to continue training and do some sort of vocational training in drama. And ever since I was 4, I have been Dame Judi Dench's biggest fan, and I've had my eyes set on drama school in the UK. But obviously studying in England is absolutely exorbitant. I'm on a South African passport, so it was another hoop to jump through. And it was just a pipe dream. But nevertheless, I just continued, and I applied for whatever I could. And then my godmother, who is literally my fairy godmother, spoke to my mum one day and asked what my plans were. And she decided to send me on a recce to England to audition at drama schools. And if I would get into a drama school, she promised that she would send me abroad and would pay for my degree, which was mind-blowing. Amazing. So I ended up flying to London, learning a Shakespeare monologue, a contemporary monologue, a song, an interview, a dance, everything. And I think I was 22 or 23 at the time, and I auditioned for a whole bunch of drama schools, and I got accepted at E15, and I decided to obviously take that offer, and I started to train at drama school in England. But what actually ended up happening to me is that I came for a month and I enrolled in drama school, started classes, and then my brother's illness got worse and he passed away. So I had to go back to South Africa, and I was really fortunate because I actually was put on a scholarship because I was such a student. And normally what happens at drama school, it's so competitive to get into. I think I was one of 4,000 who applied who actually got into my course. And if you need to defer your year, that's it. There's no such thing as deferring. You don't really get in the next year. It's too bad, you've lost out. But because of my, exceptional circumstance and writing motivational letters to the university and then to the drama school, they held my place for a year. So I came back in 2014 to start all over again. Jess was with me on that flight, actually. So we moved back to London together, Cool. And I started my journey, and I've never left. Here I am.
How many
the
years
London
later?
Girl.
I think it must be 6 years or just over 6 years now. Yes, I promised myself that I would stay indefinitely. And my classmates asked me, well, how? You're on a South African passport. And I said, well, obviously I'm going to marry an Englishman. And true's Bob, I just did.
Nice. But you married for love, Ainsley.
Of course.
Yeah, I was going to say, moral of the story is, if you need a visa, get married.
So Chev, on to you.
I feel like your guys is way more like fairy tale book stories and whatever, whereas mine was, I suppose from the beginning, I never really followed like a conventional lifestyle. I literally studied and then I was like, bitches, I have the rest of my life to conform, sit behind a desk. So I left to go over to do working on super yachts. And then once I came home, I think I really tried to feel like I'd settled back into home life, but I just really always felt like I was just literally like missing a limb kind of thing. So then it took literally an extreme circumstance of me trying to fit in and finding a boyfriend back home. It took him breaking up with me on Valentine's Day to then go to my psychologist and think, no, this move needs to happen. And I phoned my friend on the way back from like the psychologist room after having like this breakthrough that I really needed to move because I was just so unhappy in my life in Durban. Phoned my friend and I was like, I'm moving, and it's happening. And I messaged some people and I was like, can I stay on your couch? I'll come next week. And everyone was like, okay, calm down. Let's just process this information. Anyway, then I eventually, it was a longer process than that. Then I just booked my flights, and having my Irish passport, I literally just landed here. And yeah, somehow have still survived. And here I am.
And when was that?
Yes. Mine was, I came over in May 2019.
Oh,
I think I'm the friend of everyone, yeah.
So Ainsley, you're the longest. Then I think Ken's, it's you then, hey?
yeah, I think only just, right? It was 2018. Yeah.
So and then Chev, you are, that's so cool. And here we all are.
Here we all are trying to find jobs to make sure that we have a reason to stay.
So yes, we are also all unemployed.
All very unemployed.
Hence the reason for this lovely YouTube channel.
Yeah, this is why you'll find us on the internet now.
Yeah. We're going to be the next big influencers, you know?
Yeah.
An interesting question is, what season did you guys move over in? Because I moved over in September, which was really mild and quite warm actually. So how about you guys?
I moved over in the peak of winter.
Whoa.
I arrived and I was like, what the frick have I done? This is the worst decision I've made in my entire life. It's miserable. It's horrible. It's depressing. I moved over on my own. Craig only came 3 weeks later. I was staying with friends. They were actually out for the night. And so I arrived to their house. I think they put the keys under the mat or something. I arrived and I was like, where am I and what am I doing? And the next day I started a private PA job, literally the next day. And I was like this, and I didn't know where I was going. I remember phoning Craig in tears. In fact, he took a photo of me on FaceTime. They hadn't put the heater on in my room. They forgot to do it. So I was freezing in the peak of winter in the lounge, sleeping on the floor on a blow-up mattress with no heater. I was exhausted, so I went to bed before they got home. I went to Sainsbury. I bought a thing of soup because it was like the cheapest thing, because, you know, I was like converting with rands, which is like £3 is like 1,000,000 rands. And I had the soup and I had a beanie on and I had a coat on and I had the duvet and I look like I'm homeless. And Craig took a screenshot, and I swear, like, if that ever sees the light of day, people could bribe me for the rest of my life.
Yeah,
we'll link it so y'all can see how miserable it was when I arrived. I was miserable. I was like, this is the worst thing I've ever done.
But don't you think it's so cool, like having those photos, because you sometimes they pop up on your phone, right? And then you can look at them and you're like, oh my gosh, I've actually come so far. Like life I'm actually like, this is amazing. Like Andy actually sent me a photo the other day, and his caption literally was, "Look how far we've come."
Nah.
When we first arrived, we were sleeping on a sleeper couch in an Airbnb because we could not find an Airbnb in Greenwich, like at all. They were all booked, and eventually we found this Airbnb, and it was a sleeper couch in one room, and it was £40 a night, and we were just thinking, we are paying an exorbitant amount of money to sleep on a springy, painful sleeper couch. And it was like for months. I think it was like 2.5, almost 3 months we slept on that sleeper couch.
That's a long time to be in an Airbnb.
Yeah, because no one would let us rent, right? Because
you didn't have your credit.
Didn't have no jobs. So literally we just stuck in this Airbnb. Every week we just like say our Airbnb posts like, "We're so sorry. Please can we stay another week?"
I mean, that must be tough. Like that's a tough, I mean, I have friends who've also done that, moving over and having to do that, and you're having to like really budget, because now you're spending, you know, the conversion with rands to pounds is ridiculous, and it's like, that's hard. I mean, I was lucky in that Craig's job, after a few weeks, managed to put us in a temporary apartment for a month until we could find a space, which they paid for. So we were very, very blessed. Yeah, I don't think I would have been able to move over without that, to be honest. Me personally, I wouldn't have been able to afford it. So like, kudos to you. That's tough. That's tough. But you guys got through it, and look where you are now.
Actually, like some of our happiest memories and our happiest days. So it's all worth it in the life, isn't it? So
exactly.
Yeah, no, Jess, you guys literally did that on your own. I was so lucky, and I have stayed with friends. Still am.
You're in. Still making you good, making use of those friends.
Yeah. I had a completely different experience, and I remember also one of my biggest panics before coming over was like, I'm going to be homeless. Like, what am I going to do? And a friend said to me, people really want to help you. Like, people like having the opportunities to help people. So let them like ask for help, and let them have that gift to give of like giving you the opportunity to stay with them and helping you. And people want to help people.
It's so true.
When I finally realised that, I did calm down a lot, because I was like a bit of a wreck at some stages.
Yeah, because if you don't ask, you don't get. Eh?
Yeah.
True. It's very true.
Ainsley, you're staying in like the nicest student digs, right?
Well, when I originally first moved over, we stayed in Covent Garden for a good couple of weeks with my godmother's friend. And then I went to my student digs, which is in Loughton, so at the central line. And we had the coolest, amazing spot that actually had a living room. So having a living room is quite a commodity for London, because what usually happens is people will convert the living room into another bedroom so that they can move out. So the fact that we had this lounge area, we were like seriously cool. So everyone used to come to our place to party. And I remember one of my birthdays, I shared a birthday with my housemate, or she was the day after me. And we ended up having 120 people in our space, in our living room.
Oh my word.
It was heaving. It was so much fun. We had the cops fill up and come and stop the party. We had playing. It was amazing.
How old were you, Ainsley? Were you in your young 20s then?
I think so. I think I was like 24 or something. I was just a teeny tiny tot living by myself.
Teeny tiny tot.
It was great fun. But I do remember when I moved out of my student accommodation when drama school ended, I needed to find a place to live, and I also needed a way to stay in the UK, because I was going to get deported back to South Africa pretty darn quick if I didn't find myself a sponsored job. Anyhow, that was super stressful, and then once I eventually did get my working visa, I went into Spare Room, which is a lifesaver, and you can basically filter like what area you want to live in, who you want to live with, males, females, their ages, do you want pets, should it include a lounge if it can, should there be a garden, and I remember having this whole like plethora of East London, West London, South London, North London, and I was like, I don't know which one to choose. And I put a Facebook status up to basically say to people, like, where do I live? Like, where do I live? And all the South Africans said South London, which is Putney and Earlsfield, Wimbledon, the typical South African hangouts. And then my one friend, Rebecca, said, actually, come to East London. And I ended up going to East London, and I've never looked back until now, because now I'm in South London. But best days of my life were in East London, Shoreditch.
It's interesting how you look back on those things. Like your first day, you didn't think that you'd make it through, and now you're like, no, I loved it. Like that was like my best day of my life was, again, like joining yachting and realizing that I didn't really do the whole uni thing. So I really made that first year of yachting my uni thing, and I was earning good salary and like had fun, and first time being away from home, and just I didn't think that it would be, like, had some questionable moments, but definitely the best bit.
Character building.
Yeah. London definitely builds character. Definitely. Also, COVID builds character. Big time.
If anyone does actually watch this, let us know what you want to hear, and we can cater to like any feedback or any comments, really.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think there's so many, especially now, given the time, a lot of people are looking to immigrate from South Africa over to England, and they're quite apprehensive and scared, although they know that it's a move that they have to make. And there's so many questions, from like national insurance numbers to SIM cards to mortgages to where to rent, where to take the kids to school, like just foreign concepts to a South African mind that we've been through and that we can totally help with and we'd love to help with. So yeah, keep watching our channel and send us recommendations.
And subscribe. And like.
And rate. We need
and comment.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
Lovely. A round of applause.